In the sub-zero temperatures of the high Himalayas, artillery begins to roar, and India is about to lose an entire brigade in a single day. On 20th October 1962, the PLA launched two simultaneous attacks, 1,000 kilometers apart. In the Western Theatre, the PLA sought to expel Indian forces from the Chipchap Valley in Aksai Chin, while in the Eastern Theatre, the PLA sought to capture both the banks of Namkachu River. The very first Chinese assault came at the banks of the Namkachu. Indians were guarding around 9 posts here. Under the cover of darkness and artillery fire, Indians were completely distracted while the Chinese crossed the river and formed up units behind the Indian posts. At about 6:30 in the morning, the Chinese infantry launched a surprise attack from the rear and forced the Indians to leave their trenches. Indian soldiers fought very bravely, but they were sitting ducks for the Chinese. Many units ran out of ammunition within hours. Some officers then tried bayonet charges uphill against entrenched PLA soldiers, but this was futile and the Chinese cut down Indian bayonet assaults with light machine guns. Indian casualties started mounting rapidly. By evening that day, 7 Infantry Brigade ceased to exist and its commanding officer, Brigadier J.P. Dalvi, was made a prisoner of war. Later, Brigadier Dalvi, after being released from Chinese captivity, will go on to write a book, The Himalayan Blunder, where he will write scathing criticism of his political and military bosses, including Nehru and Krishna Menon. The book was promptly banned at publication. By end of day 1, PLA now held all the territory south of Namkachu. The Chinese were poised to advance deep into Arunachal. On the Aksai Chin front, the Chinese easily took the Chipchap Valley and Pangong Lake in an identical maneuver in day 1. When the news of this Chinese assault reached New Delhi, Pandit Nehru was stunned. Until the very last moment, he had believed Beijing would not risk a full-scale war. Inside South Block, there was utter confusion over the scale of this offensive. Defense Minister V.K. Krishna Menon was visibly shaken. He had championed the forward policy and repeatedly dismissed Chinese build-up as a bluff. On that fateful day of 20th of October, his entire worldview collapsed in real time. On the military leadership side, the situation was even worse. Chief of Army Staff P.N. Thapar had limited situational awareness and communications from forward areas have completely broken down. In the Arunachal sector, operational control rested with B.M. Kaul, Pandit Nehru's cousin and a politically favoured commander who had limited combat experience. His forward quarters near Namkachu has disintegrated within hours of the Chinese attacks. Kaul now fell ill and had to be evacuated, leaving his entire formation leaderless at this worst possible moment. On 21st October, the town of Tawang, the most strategically important points in Arunachal Pradesh, was ordered to be abandoned. Indian command assessed Tawang as untenable. Orders were issued for withdrawal towards Sela Pass. Indian forces withdrew from Tawang and 2 days later, the Chinese marched into Tawang almost unopposed. 2 days after the Chinese attack started, on 22nd October, India raised the issue at the United Nations. It reached out to America and Soviet Russia while Prime Minister Nehru informed the parliament that Chinese forces had launched major large-scale attacks across the frontier. But on October 24th, China did something unexpected. They released a statement and proposed talks with India. By the time this ceasefire proposal reached New Delhi, Phase 1 of the war have already been completed and China has succeeded in achieving its war objective in less than 4 days. As Mao bought time and tried to align international support, the Chinese Phase 2 plans were being finalized. The second wave of attack will come 3 weeks from now and lead to a complete collapse of the Indian army.